We're going to start out with 250 grams of bread flour. Now I would tell you how many cups that is, but for baking, it's generally better to use weight measurements. That way if your flour is ground finer or coarser, you know you'll have the same amount. We're going to add 6 grams of sugar. This will help it crisp up nice in the oven. 6 grams of salt to flavor the dough. A packet of active dry yeast. And about a tablespoon or 10 grams of olive oil. And we're going to add 167 milliliters of water, which will give us a 67% hydration dough. Throw the bowl on your stand mixer and let it go for about 5 minutes. Or alternatively, you could knead it by hand for about 10 minutes. In the end, you should end up with this real supple, just sexy dough right here. Go ahead and form that into a nice little ball. And throw it into a bowl. Let's throw a little bit of olive oil into the bottom of that bowl just so it doesn't stick. Just a little bit. And go ahead and cover that up with a kitchen towel for an hour. In the meantime, we can go ahead and start on our toppings. The first one is going to be za'atar, which is a Middle Eastern spice blend. Go ahead and toast a tablespoon of sesame seeds in a skillet. Once they just start smoking a little bit, we'll throw them into the bowl of our mortar and pestle, followed by a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of thyme, and a teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to go ahead and grind that up with our pestle, or is it our mortar? Can't quite remember which is which, but that's all right, you get the point. Don't forget to give it a quick taste. Then we can add about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. Blend it up. Remember that we forgot the sumac, which will give it a nice lemony, vinegary kind of accent. And for our next topping, we're going to make a spiced lamb mince, which is called لحم بعجين, I think. So I've got about 500 grams of ground lamb meat here. To that, we're going to add a basic Lebanese 7-spice, which is a combination of allspice, cloves, yes, those are cloves, ground cinnamon, ground black pepper, some ground nutmeg, disregard the turmeric stain on this microplane, some fenugreek, and the 7th spice is friendship. Just kidding, it's ground ginger, but grocery stores are kind of crazy right now and they were sold out of ground ginger. I guess everybody's trying to make ginger snaps for the end times. Add that all on in. Give it a good mix. With your hands, of course. Come on. What are we, heathens? And I'm going to go ahead and mince up a 1/4 of an onion. Trying a new technique here. Not convinced. Whatever, it gets the job done. Make sure it's a nice fine mince. That way it all blends nicely into the meat. And we're also going to mince up a tomato. I'd recommend getting rid of the seeds or straining these afterwards so your mixture doesn't leak all over your pizza. Season liberally with salt. Give it a good mix, and we're good to go with that one as well. So it's been an hour, and my dough rose a little too much for that kitchen towel's safety, so I use plastic wrap. Let's go ahead and pull it out of the bowl. Roll it into a nice log. And I cut it into 3 pieces, but you really could get away with 4 here, maybe even 6. Think more personal pizza than full-on slicing pie here. Let's roll them out real thin. We want maybe 4 millimeters thickness. Then we can get out our trusty pizza peel. It is a pizza after all. Give it a final little stretch, and then we can pour on our za'atar. Spread it on thick. I didn't quite make enough. You could definitely go thicker, but this should season it quite nicely. And go ahead and slide that onto a pizza stone or pizza steel in a preheated 205°C oven until everything's golden brown. And go ahead and do the same for our lamb mixture as well. Be sure to keep it thin so that the meat cooks at the same rate as the pizza does. Let's try the za'atar one first. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to eat it, but it's tasty. Tons of flavor from that oregano. The sesame seeds and the oregano surprisingly go really well together. I don't know why I've never heard of that combination before, but I'm guessing it's a common thing in the Levant. It's just like an amazing focaccia. It just works. Now for the lamb. I guess I fold it? I don't... Beautifully seasoned ground lamb. You get the clove and the cinnamon coming through. Just very rich and savory. And both of these are really tasty options. I don't know which one I would prefer. Maybe, just maybe. Is this sacrilege right here? Gotta give it a try. Why not? So I've got a link to the full recipe in the description below. And over here is a video where I show you how to make Syrian meatballs with cherry sauce. So check that out. See you next time. Cheers.